Money, drugs, politics. Sounds like the makings of a Hollywood action-adventure movie or the day in the life of a pharmaceutical industry lobbyist. And it also describes my life. Well, at least the part of my life related to research lately. So nice to be with you tonight to hear about the range of inquiry going on at the University of Tennessee. But what in the world is an advertising professor talking about politics and drugs and money? Well, you thought all we wanted to do was sell you stuff to make your life better, or in the case of most of us full professors, things like hover rounds, walk-in bathtubs, and incontinence products. But money, drugs, and politics are of special concern to those of us who study advertising effects and public policy. Specifically, money is related to the advertising of financial products and services such as bank accounts, credit cards, retirement accounts, investment opportunities. Drugs refers to over-the-counter and prescription drugs, and politics, the dirtiest area, refers to political advertising for or against candidates, laws, and policy. At the core of each of these issues is literacy. That is, what does it take to be literate enough to understand advertising about these specific areas? Well, think about why it's an important question. Generally, if we're advertising soda crackers, the outcome of a bad consumer decision might be, well, bad crackers. Well, now bad crackers can ruin one's day, or at least one's soup, I suppose. But you know, compare that to what it takes if bad decisions in the outcomes of financial services, drugs, or politics. It's hard, you know, it's a little bit more grave than bad soda crackers. So my research lately has been focusing on what does it take for consumers to be literate enough to understand information in these areas. Now, looking across these three areas, we can start to develop a general model of what it might look like to have advertising literacy. We're going to work it backwards. In order to get message interpretation, to stand a chance of understanding, you need a fundamental level of literacy. And from reading literature, the reading literature, you understand there is a certain knowledge base that has to happen in order to have literacy. We need to know something about the topic being discussed, the source of that knowledge. We need to understand the function of advertising, but also we've got this bugaboo of beliefs over here which can trump it all and lead to, and really mess with message interpretation. So this is what we're after trying to figure out across these three areas. What does it take to be literate? Now, the regulatory philosophy in making information about financial products and prescription drugs available to the general population is based on the notion of consumer empowerment. That is, the more informed consumers are, we hope that they'll make better decisions leading to both individual and social welfare. But how much can the average person understand? In terms of financial services advertising, we're now asked to make very important decisions about our financial futures very early in life. Before we even cash our first paycheck, we've got to make key retirement planning decisions, and we're asked to make decisions that even well-trained financial advisors have sometimes difficulty in making. You know, what are the right products for us? Who can we trust? Well, our research has shown that disclosures in financial services advertising can help well-educated people make better decisions. However, such disclosures are actually more likely to convince uneducated consumers that the advertising presented is credible. That is, the mere presence of the disclosure makes the ad look more credible to them, even if they don't understand the disclosure. But guess what? The good news is, even taking a basic finance class can make a difference in the topic knowledge needed to have a chance at comprehending financial services advertising. So those of you teaching finance, take heart, you poor souls. You're having an impact. In terms of the prescription drug advertising, marketers want average consumers to ask their doctors for specific drugs. Yet, how much training is needed to understand symptoms, conditions, drug indications, side effects? Even doctors can struggle with achieving the right treatment option for each individual. In an attempt to make marketers provide risk information in ads, the Food and Drug Administration requires something called fair balance between a drug's positive and potentially negative effects if a brand name appears and the condition appears. But how do consumers deal with? Side effects may include high blood pressure, bulging eyes, the development of horns, and death. Now, add to the mix the various class action lawsuits that you see out there saying stuff like, if you've suffered death as a result of taking Zoloft, good news, there may be money waiting for you. Well, our research has shown that consumers mix up the sources of this information all the time. And they draw from both types of information, the lawyer advertising and the drug ads, and it leads to some crazy, crazy interpretations. Again, our research has also shown, though, that disclosures in these drug ads can help better educated consumers. They confuse the heck out of lower educated consumers, but even the most educated of folks get confused about estimations of risk and drug side effects. Now, the financial services, prescription drug advertising are highly regulated. Political advertising, on the other hand, has very few regulations. Political advertising is considered by the courts as political speech, thereby giving extreme protections under the First Amendment. As such, there are more regulations for the safeguarding the truthfulness of soda crackers than advertising for political candidates. My present research is focused on how consumers interpret advertising by political front groups. A front group is created to be the official funder and source of political information, thus hiding the true source and funder of the information, and it's legal. Such groups often adopt names that few can argue with, such as Americans for Patients' Rights, but the funders may be leading corporations in the pharmaceutical or health insurance industries. Now, of these three areas, money, drugs, politics, our research has shown that in general, consumers are least equipped to deal with political advertising, yet political advertising has the fewest regulatory safeguards. In terms of our model, the knowledge need to be literate. Those who are most adamant about their beliefs have the least knowledge of topic, source, or tactic. Now, topic, source, and tactic knowledge can lead to more critical assessment of political advertising. However, finding adults who are knowledgeable, period, in these areas is really hard. Now, the ultimate aim of this research, of course, is to help us understand how better to educate people to be critical consumers of financial, health, and political information. Advertising in these areas isn't going away. Too much money is being spent. So as a university, we need to be mindful of what it takes to help our students become critical consumers of this knowledge. Thank you.